Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about earning a higher salary. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, what is the best career advice that you have in order for a software developer to earn a higher salary? Well, there's two parts to it. I would say that one part is, of course, that you need to be an individual who can bring results, but that is a little bit more complicated than just saying that you're good at coding. And we're going to touch on that. And the other part is that in order for you to get a higher salary and to maximize, you need to understand that nothing is going to be handed to you for free. You're going to have to ask for things. And in order for you to ask and receive, you're going to have to do the first thing, produce results. So let's talk about producing results first and foremost. Now, there are a lot of people who ask me about things such as, for example, what is the language that I should pick to maximize my salary? What is the things that who are the developers who are paid the most, and so forth and so forth. And there are absolutely valid answers to this question because different developers are paid differently. And if you really want to know who gets paid the most with like today's data, you can go and look at reports posted by Stack Overflow or similar sorts of organizations where they have checked these sorts of things. The thing that you should know about that though is that there is a difference between having the highest salary, because a lot of people will see an immediate correlation between the language and the salary itself, and that is true to a point, but there are also other considerations. And a favorite of mine is, for example, that there's a lot of people who see that, well, there's tons of money to be made in, say, Haskell, but what they don't realize about that is that the people who are making that sort of money, well, they're specialists in not just in Haskell, they're specialists in more than Haskell itself. Haskell is a language used in high-end computational firms, such as, well, in some cases, say, high-speed trading and things like that, or trading algorithms. And that is a very niched space which you should be aware of. In other words, it's not just a software developer job. It's not like you go and learn Haskell and all of a sudden you're making more money than all of the other developers. It's about you being good, being the top notch developer within that space. And that is a very, very unlikely scenario for the average programmer. And that's the thing that kind of goes missing. The thing that usually happens after people realize that is that they go, okay, well, the highest salary, okay, let's try to get the highest salary, but within reason, with a fair bit of job stability as well, because that's the thing about Haskell. There's no practically no jobs for it. But if you do manage to be one of the bests, you can earn that sort of money. And then you lower the bar and you start thinking about, okay, but job availability. Well, if you look at languages such as, say, Java, well, it can be a different language in your region. You're going to start asking yourself, okay, how can I maximize my salary while still having a fair range of options in terms of job security? And Java is a very good choice for that. And then people start to realize that, well, okay, Java, although it is big and popular and there's a lot of companies using it, there's also a lot of developers who know Java. And just because you know Java, that doesn't give you job security necessarily. You actually have to be decent at it. And this is where the results things come in. In the beginning of things, guys, you have to realize that it does not matter so much. Like, the first thing you should always do is to look at the job postings in your region. Because if you want to get a job as a software developer, it doesn't matter which language I give you. If, as I was saying, if I say to you that, oh, Haskell has the highest salaries, and you go and learn Haskell, you're going to be fresh out of luck in most parts of the world, because nobody's going to hire you. Because, as I said, the people who are making that sort of money, they are in a very specific space, and there's like, they don't even make up like, they make up a fraction of all the jobs out there on the market. So there's a lot of there's I'm not saying competition necessarily, but it's not as straightforward to get a job in Haskell and get paid really well as to say get a job in say JavaScript or something. And the same thing goes for availability in say Java and so forth. Just because you go and become a Java developer, yeah, sure, you have job security, but you're still going to have to produce results. So that is your first and primary focus. You have to be good at what you do. Without that, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to be able to earn a higher salary. You hear about these software developers who claim that they make this income and that income and so forth, and they're YouTubers, and I kind of go, haven't you doesn't it smell the least bit fishy to you that an individual has perfect makeup, perfect with video quality, and looks like they should be on the cover of a magazine, is telling you how to get the highest possible salary, and their channel has hundreds of thousands of followers? What do you think their primary focus is? It's sure as fuck not software development. You have to be critical of your sources. So I'll give you the thing that will make the difference for all languages, regardless of which where you are, and that is, as I said, you're going to have to be able to produce results. First and foremost, that starts out, as I said, in the junior levels, it's going to be about the skills that you have, hard technical skills. Do you have what it takes to do the job? Then you get your first job. Once you have your first job, you can expect a few years of work before you earn the capacity to just do the job. Once you have reached that point, the next step for you is going to be to prove to your employers that you can bring even greater results. The results that you're going to be able to bring at a technical level are going to be limited because there's a finite amount of skill that you have to tap in yourself. There's no way for you to linearly increase your salary forever by coding alone. That's not going to work, because at some point you're going to realize that you are the best programmer at your job, but that doesn't matter because you have all these other programmers who are doing their own thing, and without them getting in line or getting them to collaborate with you, you're not going to be able to show your boss that you're bringing in the results because you're working as an island. So that is the next step. That is the organic part of what's going to give you the highest salary. You're going to organically realize, and this is something that is very alien to you in the beginning of things, that in order for you to be paid the most, you're going to have to be able to influence people at some point. It's inevitable. You're not going to be able to continue unless you, as I said, unless you are really working on something like Haskell, or let's say that for the sake of argument that your career path is that you want to build up your experience level so much that you can go in and become a consultancy for one type of very niche thing where, well, you're just crunching algorithms all day long, right? That can be something that you can do as well. But on average, the way for you to get higher up is, or to get a higher salary, is to be perceived as being more valuable. And that is the subjective part. Being valuable means more than just having high tech skills. It means producing results. And as I said, producing results may mean that you know how to code, or it may mean that you're really good at coding, but it can also mean that you know how to get people to do the thing that you want them to do. It's all about the end results, because when you get these results, it will be very easy for you to go to every single employer that you work with and just go, I feel, and and negotiate your salary and go, well, I feel like we should talk about my salary, and the employer is going to do what they always do, and that is to ask, okay, what grounds do you have for raising my salary? And then you pull up your 5 fingers and you go, well, I did this and that and that, I made that happen, I made that happen, I did this, that, and you just kind of go through the list. If you can do that continuously in the beginning of things, that is like you saying, oh, I'm I can deliver this product, I can do this, I can do that. And the higher up you get, the bigger these tasks are going to be and the more complicated they're going to be. But if you continue, as I said, to grow your expertise within the tech space and the social space, you're going to realize that, well, I lead this project, I lead that project, I consult on these issues, yada yada yada. Like the complexities of the term bringing results goes up, like the requirements are going to go up, but so is your salary, and before you know it, you basically run the entire company. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you want to earn the highest salary, Usually, the best advice I can give you is that first and foremost, you need to bring results. That is the number one thing at all times. And age doesn't matter. Uh, your how long you stay in a company doesn't matter. Results are everything, and results are usually at the early stages gained by you just learning how to code and being able to actually do the job. And if you do that well, you're going to be able to earn a higher salary, and then after a while you're going to realize that delivering on projects or delivering improvements or so forth is going to be the next thing that's going to earn you a higher pay bracket. And then after that it becomes leadership. Like, basically, if you want to be at the highest levels and earn the most amount of money, you're going to have to be able to lead entire teams, and in some cases entire companies. And you can do all of these things if you're result focused, and that means one part being really good at the tech stuff and one part being good at talking with people and understanding business. Those are the two things. You can of course go into something very niche, something that is very high paid, like high speed trading and things like that. But this is the most sustainable way for you to do that. Even in that space, it's going to be the most sustainable thing for you. And as I said, the second part would be that you have that you realize that your your ability to do all of these things, your ability to produce results, it's tied into your ability to showcase it towards your manager, to bring those results and asking for things. Don't sit and wait for your manager to tell you what to do in order uh, to progress, in order to get the highest salary. You should continuously ask, okay, what's the next thing? How do I get the next thing? How do I do the next thing? And make sure that your manager is aware of that you want a roadmap for how to get to the next pay bracket. There is nothing, like, if you don't ask, nothing's going to happen. Trust me, this idea that some people have that I'm just going to do a really good job and get noticed, that doesn't usually work. It's much better for you to go and be upfront and say, I'm interested in progressing my responsibilities within the company. Please help me. How can we create an action plan for me to prove that I'm more that I'm able to do this sort of thing? Have a great day.